Everyone, welcome to my channel. As you might already know if you've seen my videos, I'm somebody who loves fashion but also highly values spending my money well. Like you, I watch a lot of fashion videos to always learn about not necessarily the latest trends, but about the quality of pieces, how I might improve my personal style so that everything that I buy is very intentional and high quality rather than impulse purchases or purchases that don't get worn. There's so many ways to shop smarter. Some people have budgets, some people believe in capsule wardrobes. But as somebody who loves unique vintage pieces, case in point, and as somebody who just genuinely gets a lot of joy out of buying things for myself, the advice of, less is more or buying pieces that can go with a lot of items in your wardrobe doesn't always apply to me. At the end of the day, I'm not shopping out of need. I'm shopping because I want. And if you're watching this video, you're probably on a similar boat. You like to treat yourself, but you also don't want to be irresponsible. So when the world is full of items we desire, yet our closets have limited space and our budget is not infinite, the thing that has worked for me is process of elimination. What I mean by that is I have some strict guardrails that I put on myself when I'm shopping so that I can not be tempted or spend any more mental energy on items that I know will not serve me. This process not only simplifies shopping, but it also made it so much easier for me to clearly identify what things are worth buying or not. So I want to share this list with you. First is knowing what fabric you like versus dislike. And this goes beyond natural versus synthetic fabric. For example, I think polyester is a material that's incredible for workout clothes or items that you don't want to wrinkle. I don't have a hard rule against polyester. However, I do have a hard rule against fabrics like alpaca because they tend to be a little itchy and shed, which are two things that I just don't have a tolerance for. Or acrylic that feels so incredibly soft, but after 2 or 3 washes, they tend to deteriorate. I know that people are really big fans of linen, but for example, for me, I have second thoughts about buying linen items because I don't really like the upkeep and the wrinkling of that fabric, even though it's breezy and ideal for summer. So it's not so black and white what fabrics you should buy versus not. It's about finding what you are willing to take care of and what you feel comfortable in. And I find that by knowing exactly what fabrics I'm not willing to bring into my wardrobe, it makes shopping so much easier. One of the first things that I do when I see something that I like is immediately go to the material section. And if I see a percentage of alpaca or percentage of acrylic, I won't even consider it, even if the item is gorgeous, it's from a reputable brand, and it has high ratings. Another item that I have a very strict rule on are prints. Prints are something that I absolutely love because it makes a statement. It's one of the easiest ways to communicate your personal style. And I think there are just so many beautiful prints out there that catch our eyes, but can also be a little bit tricky to navigate because prints, depending on how they're executed, can read a little tacky or maybe not proportionate to your body. So, for example, I'm somebody who loves floral, but not all floral. I really like a large floral print, but anything in the medium size or even smaller don't really fit my taste. And having that definition of what floral I'm willing to purchase has made my shopping so much easier. When it comes to animal prints, I love cheetah print because it is in my color palette. It's a lot of browns and beiges and blacks, which I love, but I tend to stay away from like harsh black and white or more cool toned prints because that's not in my color palette. So I think prints make such a statement and make any outfit a little bit more interesting. But if you have trouble with them, start thinking about what you don't like or what doesn't look good on you rather than limiting yourself to 1 or 2 prints that you know you like. I think it's just much easier to eliminate the prints that you know you dislike on you. Color is another thing that I have a pretty strict rule on for myself. If you haven't gotten a color analysis done, I highly recommend it. I mean, you can always ask ChatGPT as well. There's so many resources out there. But once I confirmed what colors look good on me versus not, especially on the top where it's near my face, I've just said no to all of these colors that I find beautiful, but I just know it washes me out. Pastels are one of them. I find them so beautiful and so feminine. And there are so many pieces, especially around spring and summertime, that tug at me. But because I know that those colors don't look as good on me, I am easily able to say no to those pieces and focus my attention on pieces that will suit me. Or sometimes it's just a matter of not enjoying a color. You might decide yellow is not for me. I don't like the color yellow. Knowing that about yourself as you're shopping is so helpful. You probably know all of this subconsciously, but saying it out loud, telling yourself that's not a color I'm willing to buy, honestly helps so much. Another category is a type of style you don't like. I think it's honestly very difficult to define what style you do like because we are not one dimensional beings. You may adapt your style depending on the activity that you do or the weather that you're in, and the mood might completely change. For example, in the summer, I am more likely to entertain girlier, more feminine pieces than in the winter. So, trying to encapsulate that into a single or two words and trying to shop within those boundaries is really hard and also not fun because then you don't discover things outside of the box. So, instead, what I did was define what styles that definitely don't suit me or I simply don't like. I have such an admiration for women who can pull off that like feminine boho cottagecore look. I find it so beautiful. And my eyes definitely go to items that resemble that style. However, I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my lifestyle. It doesn't really suit my personality. So I know that I can admire those pieces, but I won't spend time purchasing them, trying them on, etc. It's so much easier to define the style you don't like than the style you like. And by defining that, you are eliminating temptation. I think body shape is also a huge consideration when it comes to defining what you're not willing to purchase. Most of us know what part of our body we want to accentuate because we feel really confident about it, and what part of the body that needs a little bit of help. There's so many resources online that helps you understand what types of clothing looks best on which body type. For example, I have broader shoulders than my hips. I'm like an inverse triangle. So I find that stripes that are horizontal or like boat neck style, any style that really makes this part really full, makes my shoulders even broader. I love my shoulders, but I'm always looking for a balanced look when I'm dressing head to toe. There are a lot of opinions about what type of bottoms look the best on the type of body type. Rather than restricting yourself to only one type of pants or one type of neckline, which can be so boring, try figuring out what specific style does not serve your body and have that be the guiding light when you are shopping. We've talked about body types. We've talked about dressing for our body, our skin tone, but also I think it's really important to just consider personal preference. No matter what the internet says, you should hold your personal preference at the highest level. And that personal preference can come from sheer taste, your passion for a certain style or type of item. It could come from your lifestyle or the weather that you live in. I'm somebody who lives in a very casual city that has a desk job, and that means that comfort is the most important thing to me. So, no matter how beautiful an item, I will never sacrifice comfort for fashion. And that is my personal deal breaker. I don't care how flattering it looks on me, how the cut is the best cut, the color in my color palette. If it's uncomfortable, I just know that I won't wear it. It's just not something I'm willing to sacrifice So, knowing what makes an item comfortable in my body has been a huge game changer for me when it comes to shopping smarter. For example, for my bottoms, I know that when it's just like a zippered skirt or a zippered trouser and the fabric does not have any elastic and it's a synthetic material, which often like a lot of skirts are, I know that I'm not going to enjoy that item unless I go up a size. If I apply all these things when I'm shopping, it means that the items that come into my home are something that I love, something that I can wear with confidence and comfort, and something that is likely not going to just collect dust in my closet. Ultimately, that is my goal here. If I buy something, I want to love it. I'm curious, what are you not willing to buy? What has helped you shop smarter? I would love to know. Please leave that in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.